Hello YouTube, Larry here, Outdoors with Larry and Robin. We're going to talk serious here a little bit. There's so much about seasoning wood. 46 years I've been dealing with wood, and I don't stack, and everybody knows that. And this is just my opinion. I'm not trying to contest with anybody or argue with anybody. But for me, what I have found through experience is having burned wood and left it in a pile in front of my outdoor wood boiler only worked because I have it under concrete and I have a tube running from the boiler to the house that heats that slab. So that slab's always warm, even though it's getting rained on. The key to seasoning firewood for me is not the sun, is not the wind. It is the fact that it's dry. Okay, the sun can help, but you negate the sun if you let it get rained on. And I have found that, yes, it takes 2 years to do oak myself, until I stopped raising cattle and goats and pigs on the farm for the 6 kids. It was more to teach them and supply food that I knew was non-steroid. That's another effect. But what I have found with the cattle building, it was a graded floor so that the manure I could get out. That building being concrete, 6 to 8 inches thick on the floor. It has slats on the south side for the cattle to reach out for the bunks. That gives ventilation from the south. It has an opening on the west side, which is the main breeze around here, and it's wide open on the east side. That rascal seasons wood unbelievable, mainly because it's always dry, never wet. And you can put wood on skids all you want. The water wicks up through, and if it rains, it lays underneath of it. You can put wood and watch these huge firewood companies put it in a big pile and taper the top of it so that it sheds. Get to the bottom of that pile and it has not seasoned properly. 3 months I took a tree out of the backyard that was alive, split it small, and was absolutely floored in that previous DR commercial. Robin picked up red oak that I had 3 months alive, and it was 14%. Now, that building just continues to floor, and so does this one. We take wood, and this wood is actually live trees that was put in that building that we split down. You can split it down smaller, and it'll season faster, no doubt. But it doesn't matter whether it's hickory, whether it's elm, whether it's what. If I put it in that building, it doesn't take but 3 or 4 months. It's so quick that I don't believe it myself, and therefore I have all these totes of last year's wood that I will sell first. It's hard for me to imagine. Now, some of the big ones that I always leave, they probably, if you split them, they will be. You can't think wood's going to season in 3 months if you don't have it split down. And I probably could go over and split some of them big ones and it would be 30%. So I'm not saying that it'll take a full-size log and season it down. But if you split it down like through 6 ways and then resplit and take a 20-inch log and split it into 12 pieces, that building will season it in 3 months. And it never sees the sun. So you can wipe out that sun. That sun is negated by rain. In my opinion, don't no offense, I'm not trying to step on nobody's toes here. But I have learned that that is so close to a kiln that it's just amazing to me. But that's just my opinion, and I'm just kind of putting it out there for anybody new that has old buildings and has dry floors. Does no good to cover it if you're on dirt. It helps, but it's not the same as concrete. And what you're getting, and I'm bringing in my college, is thermodynamic movements. You've got warm from moist and wood, the same way that hay gets wet And if it gets wet, you got to leave it out in the field because it could catch on fire. That's the kind of heat. And when you get heat, you got thermodynamic movement from the bottom to the top. That's creating, and I've seen that building do that with an infrared. And I've seen it be 130, 140 temperature in that wood at the bottom. And that's how it's seasoning, because it's giving off that heat by having a dry floor and a covered, well-ventilated open space. And that's including airspace above it. Does no good to trap heat. And if you put that in, you'd have a sauna if you sealed that building up. And I've been watching it, what I put in that container and checking the temperatures. No problem whatsoever. It is fun. The other thing about wood, it is susceptible to latent heat. It is susceptible to humidity. So if you have a high humidity area, you're going to have a higher humidity in your wood. It's going to absorb it. It doesn't make no difference if it's on concrete, if it's on cover, if it's on wood. If it rained for 2 months straight here, that building would not season the same. It would still do it, but not the same. So it's just things that I've learned here by chance. Who builds a building like that to put firewood in? So that's the first thing you need to understand. I wouldn't build but that expense. That was for the cattle. That was for the good of the cattle. But if you have a building and you can get that wood, you don't need the sun, and you got to have ventilation. And sitting out in the middle of a field, if that's what you got, that'll work. If all you got is skids, that'll work. If you like to stack, want to stack, but that's like me putting into these totes. I don't stack. That is an absolute waste of time to me, even being retired. Jake and Chris, the DIY, they're starting to understand that now. They measured. Go back and look at their video. They measured in a tote, loose fill. So I'm going to do that too. But I'll take the Halverson and fill it. But I'm not going to. I'm not going to stack. This is the most stacking that we do. Anyway, I'm going to turn you around here. Enough rattle talking here. I just felt that I needed to do a little explanation. I'm seeing so many people. Now, I did take 4 inches off of this. So I took 4 inches off of this, and it now works like a charm. Let me get you set up here somewhere without driving you crazy here. Let's try you on top of the tractor. Maybe take you down just a little bit. Okay. And again, I didn't mean to step on nobody's toes. This is just simply my opinion from what I have found. All right, now this is different. Now that the wood sticks up a little bit. This is a real easy thing to make if you have the material. I want to give a Chris shout out at Wolf Ridge. All this came from his ideas. I just thought about how it would work for me. So I don't mean to take any business from Chris. He's doing a good job. Got a great price on it at $5.95. I'm just so far away from him, it was probably $300 in shipping, but I don't mind for paying for stuff that I can use, but if I can make it something, I'm always going to go that route. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. She likes 14. Let's put Mr. Ugly here in 14. Appreciate all the new subscribers. Let's see if it'll. She don't mind it snagging. So let's see how she does. Yep, that works good. All right, now we roll him down, and right there is the bag full. I'll tell you right now, that is slick. You all had a few comments that talked about this, and this now is stiff. So it all depends on how tight I've got the springs tightened down. And that's adjustable, so she can have it where she wants it. But now it's 4 inches lower. She can fill it excellent, works perfect, and that should be it. So I appreciate everybody watching. That was not a rant. That was a simple explanation of how I do firewood. And if you have buildings, you have any dry place to put it, totes, you want to stack it, it's beautiful stacked. That's not who I am. That's not what I do. And quite frankly, I've never stacked it in my life. I never did stack firewood. I either laid it out, put it on concrete, and covered it with tarps. And then you spend a fortune in tarps. So I think if I added up everything that I put in tarps, I probably could have built another building. Anyway, that's it for this video. Take care, everybody. Toodles.